Well, welcome to Access Prosthetics. Today we're here with Bernice, a patient of ours who's been nice enough to come in and demonstrate how she utilizes her below-the-knee preparatory prosthesis. Thanks for coming in, Bernice.
You're welcome.
So I think the first thing we'll probably do is just kind of show people what your prosthesis looks like, and we'll explain the parts and pieces. So she has a Maverick foot, so it's a K2 or K3 level prosthetic foot, some modular componentry, a laminated socket, and a suspension sleeve. And if you want to take that down for us, we can take a look at how things are held on. Okay, perfect. So if you want to take your limb out, we'll just describe the pieces. Okay. So in the morning, I just want to have you kind of show people what you do to put this prosthesis on.
Okay. I was wearing this, and then this,
That's a nylon sheath.
yeah, and then this over.
Okay.
But now it's gotten so narrow in here,
Okay.
and I was getting a blister at the end here.
All right.
So now I think this is a number 3.
Okay. Now, did you cut the bottom out?
I did.
Because you just wanted it just in that spot,
Yeah.
huh? And because of this was sensitive?
It was sensitive right here on the side.
Okay.
And I made a blister. So now I use this in the morning and put this over.
And that kind of holds it in place?
Yes.
Okay.
I take it like this.
And you make sure that your kind of knee lines up with the... And then you roll the sleeve up over the top to hold everything together?
And sometimes, like in the early afternoon, that still gets loose.
Okay.
And I just fold it over that
Okay.
right in here.
All right.
You want me to take it down and show you how I do it?
Sure.
Okay.
So you've had a prosthesis for about a year and a half, is that correct?
I think I got the first one in June. I didn't come home from the hospital until the end of March.
Okay. And then you were at a facility for a little while?
Yeah.
Did you do some therapy while you were there?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Okay. But then eventually you're able to go home, right?
Right. I came home on the 26th of March.
So you have your nylon sheath on, and that protects your skin, and then you're going to add a sock.
Okay.
Now you put the P-Lite liner or the foam insert on. And the reason we use the foam insert is because, like with your other prosthetic, we had to do a lot of changes to it over time because your limb shrunk quite a lot. And what we'll do is glue more P-Lite on different parts of the liner to try to change the shape and support the limb correctly in the prosthesis. So once that's on there, we can slide right down into the frame. So what kind of soaps and things do you use to wash your leg or the sleeve?
I just use Aveeno on my leg,
Okay.
and I just use plain water to wash the.
Okay. Sometimes people use like a mild hand soap too.
Okay.
Just got to make sure it's rinsed off really well.
There is an odor sometimes.
Okay. Now coming into summer, sometimes I suggest to people to use unscented spray.
I have some.
You have some, okay. And like this time of year, it's a good idea to maybe spray some of that on your skin at night so that that antiperspirant kind of builds up.
Oh, okay.
And it takes a week or two, but that'll really reduce the sweating underneath the sleeve.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, when the weather gets hot, it just doesn't breathe it, you know.
It gets warm, yeah.
Okay.
But that's
So your process was the initial surgical experience, and then going into your first prosthetic, doing the rehabilitation at the facility, and then eventually transitioning home with your daughter for a while, and then now you're by yourself again.
Right.
Now, are you able to drive and things?
Well, yes.
Okay.
I drive. I go to church. I go to the grocery store. I drove here.
Yeah. What kind of helpful tips do you think you would have for people who are new to prosthetics and just experiencing this for the first time?
Well, I need this for sure.
Mm-hmm.
My cane. And I did exercise at home. I do some now, but it seems like whatever I do now is an exercise.
Sure.
But it's
How do you determine when you need to add a sock throughout the day?
it'll get loose,
Okay.
you know, and sometimes all I have to do is roll this piece of
The
rubber
sleeve down? Yeah.
and then stand up straight and pull it back up
Sure.
because I don't know if it works.
Yeah, it kind of
loose
falls down a little
yes,
bit, sure.
And then sometimes I just have to fold that over and fill this in right in here on my leg.
Sure. Now, early on when you first got your prosthetic, you had to add socks quite
Oh
a
my,
bit.
Yes.
Can you kind of explain that to us a little bit?
Well, they said after I had the ply of 15, then I would be able to get a new prosthetic.
Mm-hmm.
But you start with a 5 ply and a 3 ply, and sometimes you use a 2 5 ply and 1 3 ply. It's just a matter of getting the right socks on.
Sure.
That it's fairly stationary.
Mm-hmm.
It was a relief to get rid of those.
Sure. And you still use the socks, but not nearly as many.
Yes.
But over time, your limb kind of stabilizes a bit. So even though it may change a little,
Yeah.
it's not nearly as much as it did early on. When,
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just use the nylon. And that's what I was using the last, I'd say 3 weeks. Just the nylon and then this light one.
The 1 ply.
The
Yeah.
1 ply. And then I got this blister, so I had to improvise.
Sure.
And I put it on in the morning and I don't take it off until I go to bed at night.
Okay. Now, if you're doing more stuff, do you sometimes have to add a sock in the middle of the day?
On occasion, but the sock that I add is just that one that I
That
fold
small
over
one,
to
sure.
fill in here.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so you're able to utilize it all day and,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, that's terrific.
Yeah. I do, some walking in grocery stores, and I do get tired,
Sure.
but I do just about everything.
Yeah, I say to people, a lot of times with a below the knee prosthesis, you'll be able to do most of the things you did before. You may have to change a little bit how you do them, but for the most part, it's possible to maintain a pretty good level of independence.
Right. As I was working the other day, and I had a stool, which was about that high from the ground, and that was a challenge standing up from there.
I bet.
But I
Be careful.
managed. Yeah, I know, you sound like my son.
Well,
It was so beautiful out that I
Oh,
had
yeah.
to take advantage of it.
Exactly. I suppose all the plants and things. Do you do much gardening?
I had a garden with vegetables and so forth and flowers. My daughter covered it with mulch and planted 3 bushes where it was.
Oh boy. Well, maybe you can get one of those little raised gardens or
That's
something.
what I'm going to do.
Because that's what I did last year. I did a mobile raised garden, and that was really neat. And the
Yeah.
kids, and it's up higher, and it's a little bit easier to
Yeah.
work with.
I bought the mulch yesterday.
Oh, fantastic.
And the potting soil and so forth. A
That's
little
cool.
early for the flowers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you very much again for coming in and
problem.
showing your prosthesis to us. And
It's trial and error,
it's a journey. It's
It is.
we all have to kind of learn from each other and work together to get the best outcome possible.
And when my prosthetic is off, I find if I'm gonna put my slacks on or my pants on, I'll put it on before I,
You'll put it on the prosthetic first.
yes.
Yep.
And lots of times, if you take your shoe off, it goes on easier.
Sure.
And I find that you can wear pants slimmer than this if you put it on first.
Sure.
You know,
That's
then
a good
You
tip.
don't have to wear such baggy pants.
Now, if at some point you do want that filled in to be shaped like a leg, we can do that also.
Yeah.
So just let me know.
Oh, okay. So,
All right.
you want me to come in and do something to that?
It's completely up to you.
Oh.
But if that's something
What
that
will you do?
I would just fill it in with like a foam, and then you'd have like a nylon over the top, and it would be shaped kind of like your other leg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we could do that if you want
Yeah.
to. I think you might have to talk to your doctor about it first, because we haven't talked about that before.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, we're all set for today.
yeah, oh, good.
Thanks again.
Yeah, I hope this helps people because it's trial and error as far as the socks are concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something that's very intuitive that people will just be like, oh, I should add a sock. And you really have to get to know what the prosthesis feels like. And when something's wrong, like when it's kind of mushing around in there or not staying put, adding that sock is really the first step in maintaining the comfort and stability of the prosthesis. Well, great.